man, we in a time machine, man. It's a time machine. What more? I mean, come on. What, we talk about time machines, man. We got a time machine, man. Like, that's dope. You go back to the place and see where elements were forged, right? Did you find your body, man? Couldn't dream that up. Couldn't have dreamed it up. What's going on, Chef and man? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Unc? Chilling. Starting part 2.
Okay, all right. Boom. Part 2, what you typing?
We had 2 hours Thursday night. Part 2. I just already know. Just all.
Yeah, Egypt was a black land. No, I'm joking.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't doing that. I'm done.
So let's go to Nakata. I was waiting on this.
Goddamn, all that space, all that daggone James Webb conversation, man. What about God daggone Nubia 60,000 years ago? Nah, man. Come on, man. I tell you what, though. I tell you what runs through my mind, though. And no cap, like the youngsters say, no cap, man. When you look at Night Pt2, though, and I look how far humanity has come, right? For those, astronomy, right? That's in Night Pt2, right? And that right there, that's like some foundational work. And we know to even get to that structure, it's about 2,000 years of growth for Homo sapiens to even build that type of structure right there. Mm-hmm. And to see, that's like a time machine, because, you're trying to observe, you got the light coming, right? Boom, you make your alignments, but hell, by the time you make your alignments, man, the shit done already moved. You feel me? And to go from Night Pt2 to the James Webb, man, like, man,
you don't get the James Webb without Night Pt2.
Yeah, you don't get to that. And that's
you
don't get that. And it's crazy, right? And I'm sure they had some type of thing they might have been praying to or what it was, man, but we don't even know that. Right? There's no byproduct in that. The byproduct of Night Pt2 is pushing humanity forward to where we at now. And that's just amazing. The cosmos, understanding where humans are. That's a tough, hardcore reality, man, to know where you at. Man, hit that link right there, man. We got a couple people that was over there with me on Sarnetta's, man. Hit the link, man. Where you at? Let me see.
What you were talking about and saw.
We right there, brother, man.
But for sure,
Saint, the other white guy.
Sure.
Where you at? Hit the link, man.
For sure, you had
man. This is a good conversation.
Hey, brother, for sure, you had people praying, but I'm more interested in the ones that were looking up.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. You guys pray, then we'll look up to the stars. You don't get it without the guys looking up to the stars and doing the work.
Hey, that's 100 right there, bro.
You can pray, do all the praying you can. That gives me inspiration. But we need the guys looking up and doing the work as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That too. But I do want to be the devil's advocate here, though, Brendan. Right? And just to say, and this is probably going to be out of character for me, but I just got to do it. We are the byproducts, though. Us, right? Those humans that are on the planet today are the byproducts of those who were believers, right? So we just want to keep that in perspective. I just want to throw that out there. You ain't got to say that and whatever. I just want to throw it out there. That's all.
No, that's no problem.
I always keep saying, keep saying nothing changed though. If we look at the planet today, 99% of people are going to give you the hamina. It's the 1%. It's the scientists. It's the guys like us who take the cussing, who is considered the devil in the family. Oh, he don't believe in God, so he the devil. It's the guys like us that the 1% have always existed. Nothing has changed. We've always been there. You think back in those days, everyone in the tribe was around the fire going, there was one.
No, it's just that we didn't last that long back then, right? We was the first one to get ate by the lion shit, right? The scientific niggas, right? So that's why it always maintained the 1%. That's why the 99% is always the believers, right? Because it's always gonna be the niggas that's like us. We're gonna be the first ones that get fucked over, right?
Yeah. It is what it is. Until today, that's the way it is.
Ron McNair, you can't, you don't blow up in a spaceship, right? Unless you have a brain like Ron McNair, right? Yep. There's no way you can get blown up in a rocket ship, right? Unless you think the way that Ron McNair thinks. So that's why we always gonna be the 1%, right? Because Ron McNair is eventually gonna get blown up in the rocket ship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. With that being said, how they said, so what? Wouldn't have made it without us though.
Yep, they wouldn't have made it without us though.
That 1% to say, hold on, man. Every time I look over there, I don't think that's a light. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna take that chance. And you go over there and there's some water. And then you start to realize, man, every time I see these certain conditions right here, that's the water. That's where the water be. When I see certain things flying in the air, yeah, that 1% is going to pull you through at the end of the day, right? Because, most of us are followers anyway. That's in our behavior as humans. Like they do these studies, and it's funny as hell where they in this doctor office and they ring the bell and everybody stand up and everybody sit down. And a new person to come in the room, and they hit the bell, right? Everybody stand, everybody sit down. And then the new person come in without even knowing the rules, he'll start standing up, sit down. But people like us be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Hell no.
Hey, and the medicine man that had enough sense to test his concoctions on the patients instead of himself.
Yeah.
he lived long enough to know what works and what doesn't.
Brendan, as a kid, I never could get used to, because we grew up Catholic, right? And as a kid, we had to go to church. So at 5 and 6 years old, I could not get with the program going on my knees. My mom would tell me get on my knees, and I would just tell her no, because it didn't make sense for me to get on my knees as a man, as a human being. At 5 and 6 years old, I already felt that was putting me in a position of being humbled, and no, I could not do it. I never did it.
I always thought something was wrong with me, Cedric. I always thought something was wrong with me because my older cousins, right? They girls, right? My older cousin that basically I grew up with, like my sister, she was a girl, right? And she for some reason the girls take to church a lot better than boys. But I can always remember my cousin. She would be really spiritual, she would really be feeling the spirit, right? And I never said nothing to her, but I was kind of jealous. I don't know if I want to use the word jealous, but it was always something that bothered me. Man, something got to be wrong with me because she getting the Holy Spirit, but I don't. Even if I fake at it, I know for sure that I'm faking at it, right? But I never once believed that she was faking it, right? I always thought that she was actually getting the Spirit, getting the Holy Ghost. And the fact that I was not getting the Holy Ghost, I always thought, well, maybe I'm bad. Or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe maybe I got some devil in me. Or, you know what I'm saying? That's the fuck. And I'm not 13 I'm 8, 9, 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? Thinking this in my brain. You know what I mean?
After I did the first Holy Communion, that's when you're about 8 or 9 years old. And every week, it freaked me out that I had to eat the body of Christ. it made my belly hurt because in my head, I would like it didn't make sense. I'm eating this wafer, but I'm eating this man's body. Like as a kid, it didn't make sense. And I would always think, okay, I'm bad. I'm gonna go to hell because this. I'm like it's supposed to be a good thing, but I don't like doing it. It scared the hell out of me. And every time I eat that wafer, it hurts my belly. So I must be the devil or I'm going to hell or something is wrong with me because
something wrong.
This stuff doesn't work. Like, it just, nope.
It got to be something wrong. I feel so, it got to be something wrong with y'all because it's nothing about it's one thing that kids have is an imagination, right? So those things like that, and religion is basically simple, man. It shouldn't, if it was freaking you out at that young age, like it's like Bobby's World. I don't know if y'all remember Bobby's World.
I love Bobby's World.
Yeah, you had to be a Bobby type nigga to even imagine that you was actually eating Christ's body or anything, like your imagination.
I didn't know about that because that wasn't like, I mean, we did communion, but that like, I didn't know like what that meant, right?
It's the
the body of Christ.
It's the Jesus zombie.
Right.
Dude, you got Jesus. He's nailed to the cross with blood and everything coming out of him as a child. You have to look at that.
And the cross is right behind the priest every week. It's big on the
terrifying
cross.
to a child.
If you're an inquisitive kid, because I was very inquisitive. Like my dad would like buy me a toy, and like by the next day, that motherfucker is tore apart. Like I got that motherfucker piece by piece, brand new toy. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was gonna get a whooping, right? The thing is, I know I'm gonna get my ass whooped behind it. But the thing is, I gotta do it. I have to tear the toy apart. I have to, you know what I mean? And that was the kind of kid I was.
Let me ask this question. Who did this? Who did the experiment as a kid to see if the light was really on in the fridge when you closed the door?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I wanted to know if the light stayed on. And I figured out.
If it stayed on, I spent hours trying to figure that out as a kid. Like...
Yeah.
I remember did that one. When you finally realize, right?
Yeah.
That little knob. They're
tricking us. They're tricking us.
Knob.
Right?
Oh man. Right?
Everything isn't what it seems.
Oh man.
But that's, kids like that, that's real inquisitive. They think like that, and I was one of them kids that I didn't, like I said, the communion thing, that was beyond me. I never even got that deep into church to even begin to understand that kind of shit, right? But the whole thing, like with the Holy Spirit and shit, that had me because like my grandmother, my aunts, like I said, my older cousin, like when I was like 8 years old, she was probably like 12, 11, you know what I'm saying? She was older than me, So, just looking at her, and at this age, I wanted to be like my cousin, she know how to do everything. She can ride a 10-speed, you know what I'm saying? She know how to do a backflip. She can kick my ass, you know what I mean? So So, it's bothering me because that's she was the gauge, right? So what if she was doing something, that was the gauge that I had to reach, in my brain, right? Yep. So she doing her times table. She get good and she know all her times tables. I'm looking like, fuck, oh God, I gotta learn my times table. She know how to do a backflip. I'm like, oh man, I'm scared. I can't even do a backflip. You know what I mean? So now like that's putting me lower, right? So I always was comparing myself to my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that bothered me, was that she could get the Holy Spirit and I could never get it. And that's what I always thought, like, man, I gotta be a bad person. There's something bad about me, that I'm not getting the Holy Spirit, And that's you know, right now it hasn't affected me, you know, like as my life, right? But I could see how that could be traumatizing to a child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we grew up Catholic, so the Catholic doesn't have all of that. We had the organ, the pipe organ, the traditional stuff with the lady that plays it very poorly. But I always remember there was this one church in the center, in the town area, and every Sunday we would go driving for ice cream. So we would get ice cream, we would take a drive, and we'd always pass a church. Now this was a more Baptist type church with the tambourine and the drums, and it would always be extremely loud, and people would be speaking in tongues, and the windows would be open, and we would see the people with the hands in the air and the and that shit used to freak me the hell out, because I equated that with witchcraft. Like we grew up so we know about Old Bear and the folk tales, and we are told this in a negative light, though, that is bad stuff. So now we equate people getting the spirit, getting possessed by the Old Bear and the evil stuff. I see the same thing happening in the church right there, because these people, they have their hands up in the air, they're waving them, they're bouncing around, and they're shambala, shambala, shambala. That used to freak me out every Sunday. Like we would pass their clockwork between 8, and those churches would go to like 8 to 12, so you can't miss it. And it's one hype session, and not coming from that type of church. To me as a kid, and you're sitting there, you're like, what the hell? What's the difference between the stories they tell us about people getting possessed and doing the voodoo and this? It was for me the same weird, crazy stuff. Like you talking, like you're getting possessed by what? Holy Spirit? No, but I didn't know anything about the Holy Spirit or stuff like that. I just saw people going extremely crazy, hands in the air, shambala, shambala, shambala. And it just freaked me out as a kid, 8, 9 years old, driving around, go and get ice cream. I could remember that like yesterday, and that church is still there. It doesn't freak me out anymore, but the church still there. The people still same.
That sounds really close. That sounds really close to the what we call the Pentecostal tradition.
Yeah, Pentecostal Baptist type revival preacher. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the Lord said, you know, like, whoa, why you so aggressive? That you come on, you a kid.
But think about it. But in the in the African American tradition, in the Pentecostal church, they have the drums, right? You can hear the, I guess you would say the African sort of influence there, right? So you see those traditional influences in there, right? So,
but again, realize
you see it for what it is.
Yeah. I went to Catholic school. In our community, if you would take a poll, still you would see that the predominant religion is Catholicism, and then there's the Methodist second, and then there's the splinter, smaller Baptist, Pentecostal type churches that did but they're really relatively small. Then you have the Seventh-day Church, and it has maybe 1 or 2 schools, but the Catholic School Board, for example, has about 8 or 9 different schools on the island. So like the majority of the populace is Catholic and adhere to Catholic traditions. Sunday 12 o'clock mass at midnight on New Year's and that type of stuff. That is what the most of us grow up in. So you have these smaller groups that are the Baptists, and that's normal. And we experience it like in summer vacation stuff. We would go to church with a friend who goes to that type of church, but it's not what you and the majority of the populace did. So we know of it, but when you're not involved in it, especially as a kid, seeing it from the outside, that stuff is scary. That used to freak me out.
Yo, but we got a pseudo killer on the panel that rarely graces the panel, man. And the pseudo killers is basically due to a lot of his efforts, right? And he rarely gets on the panel and say something. So if my man Vance want to say something, if he want to grace the panel with some words of wisdom, I'd appreciate it. What's going on, Vance?
Oh, yeah.
Peace, Vance.
Peace.
What's
What's
up,
good? I see y'all having a good sermon going on right now.
Oh,
Cedric. Shalom. How you speak tongues? I got to break it down from you. I ain't gonna get a chance to.
I
I'm
have
over
no
here.
idea. I don't do that stuff.
I'm over here cracking up.
Hey, Vance, I know these new James Webb pictures. This is like your Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving wrapped into one,
Absolutely.
right?
It is. I've had two of my best friends come over here today, so I've been talking. That's why I wasn't here earlier, and I was explaining to them, one of them at least, how he never saw Interstellar, so I had to give him the whole spiel about that, and kind of talk to him about James Webb and the new pictures that was out. So it was I was actually doing the same thing y'all was doing. So it's just good to see we keeping the train rolling, talking about these things. But yeah, I don't want to hold y'all up to stop y'all flow. I'm just checking in. I see y'all was going into the Pentecostal and the Baptist church. I'm over here cracking up because I grew up in the South, so it's a church every half mile down every street where I'm at in my city. So I already know what time it is, and I grew up going to the church but not really participating because my mother gave me that option. She said, if you're not saved, you don't have to participate in taking communion and doing all these other little things that you do when you quote unquote saved. So I never was convinced. I was like, I'm gonna wait. They running around the church acting crazy and doing the whole thing until I feel that feeling. I know I can't eat this bread and drink this blood. I know I can't do it. But with that being said, y'all go ahead. I'm just, here. If I hear something, I'll tap in for. I'm gonna be here for a minute though. I ain't going nowhere.
No, I appreciate it. I just wanted to, let you get something off if you wanted to get something off or whatever. But
yeah. No, for sure. I appreciate it.
Hey, well, I never asked you which one of those images was your favorite image then?
Oh man, probably the very first one before the reveal.
Because the Neil, so much that's Neil. Picture. Yeah, you like Neil, like, yeah, okay.
Right. Hubble put out a lot of those pictures that if you if you downloaded the full image, you could zoom in and you would see galaxies. When you would zoom in, you would see them fill up the picture still. So it's crazy. I love those deep field pictures that they put out. So I'm gonna download that full version and just look at it for a while.
Right. Yeah, that's I've downloaded a couple of them too. I downloaded that one too. Yeah. Neil said that image is he himself is gonna be analyzing that for quite some time, right? For some years.
Right. It's a lot going on. Yeah. It's a lot going on in that one single picture. So I'm definitely. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I love to see all those pictures. Mm-hmm. It's a whole nother layer of detail that we never got to see, especially with those two stars. The one star exploding and shedding its layers of gas. So it was kind of crazy to see that in that detail. So yeah. I mean, I liked all those pictures. Then to see the nebula in full, it's such great detail, and to get and wrap your mind around what's actually going on in that picture as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about anything they laid out and presented.
Right.
I like it all.
Definitely. Yeah, I love them all, but like I said, my favorite one was the Carina Nebula. That's amazing to me. That one there is amazing.
Shit. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And you know what, for me is like what's amazing, what goes into the construction of something like that, right? We talked about it earlier in terms of like how do they know that this is going to be sturdy enough or it's going to be resilient enough, the redundancy that's in place, right? You think about like something like the James Webb, something we're going to put in space, right? A simple communication cable, like something that's sitting on the back of your computer that's like an Ethernet cable, right? a standard Ethernet cable that you would use in your house, right, is like if you break it open, it's just got copper shielding on the inside of it. No, what they use on something like the James Webb, every communication cable is on the inside, it's clad with solid gold. Mm-hmm. Right? Because the gold is the most conductive metal that we have on the planet.
Yep.
Right. So you think about it, right? You would have every cable that you would have in your house made of solid gold, right? That's the level of detail and the level of precision that goes into these types of build. That's what makes it, right, when we put these things into space, right, that we know that they're going to be they're going to perform.
Absolutely. And they do that to distribute the temperature on those vehicles, because there's extreme temperatures. Right. One side is facing the sun, the other side's facing complete cold. So yeah, they have to do that.
Right. You're talking about the plates, the plating on the outside. Exactly. Right?
Absolutely.
The sheer materials that goes in, the raw materials, right, is just crazy. That's how we know we can put that into space and it'll last 20, 30 years. Right, because of the materials and precision that's used, right?
And that's good. It's good that Vance is on here too, because he can talk a lot about the actual telescope. And I wanted to add too, like when you get to those extreme temperatures, right? The material that these observatories are made out of, like James Webb is made out of, right? The atomic structure even starts to slow down at that point. When you get to the point of negative 300 or even absolute zero or whatever, the molecular and atomic structure of the material starts to have different changes due to the effects of the extreme weather. So when you freeze things, it slows down the aging process, right? So the atoms within the material start to slow down. You know what I mean? So you just got to just know that these scientists took all of that into consideration when building this amazing telescope. You know what I'm saying?
So Vance, where you at, Vance?
What's good?
Yeah, I can't let you escape like that, yo. I know that's your favorite subject, man. And I'm gonna tell this story until I can't tell the shit no more, man. Like you re-energize me with your love of the cosmos and your love of science, bro. Like, and that shit, man. I was like, man, tired of dealing with these nuts, man. Like I can't even do it no more. Like it's like I felt like I was by myself, right? Like, nah, come on, OG, that ain't, come on, knock that shit off. We fucking with you. Man, who fucking with me? Young niggas, we fucking with you, nigga. What you doing? And that kind of, I was like, really? Like, come on, yo, come on the show. I'm like, all right, bet, I'm gonna come on your show. And that show for me, just to hear the conversation, man, just to hear, just to see that the young people, man, it's in a great goddamn space. You know what I'm saying? Not seeing people gang banging, wanting to shoot at each other. But to just to have some cool dudes, man, just had a conversation about everything, clothes, clothing line. What you think about this, man? Like one of my favorite shirts is the Great Ape shirt. You know what I'm saying? To see that flavor, that mix, right? To hear you talk about like Interstellar. What the fuck? And to name those probes, that was in 19 such probe. What the fuck? Yeah, yo, went
77.
Yeah, look and see, it's outside of the space, but the what? Yeah, outside the space bubble. What the hell you talking about, man? The gravitational field of the sun. I was like, oh shit, man, let me, like, come on, yo. I'm like, that, man. And so, that's really where, the pseudo killers, got started right there, man. Realizing, man, that the younger brothers and sisters, man, was fucking listening. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, we could do this, man. So I know this is your favorite shit to talk about, yo. Man, just
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us something, nigga. What you got? Something. What?
Shit, I ain't got nothing right now. Y'all been doing y'all thing. I mean, I can't do nothing but add on to what y'all was saying. I'm just ready to see the more they reveal that James Webb is finding out. You know, I'm observing the pictures that we got. I'm stuck. You know, analysis by paralysis by analysis. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Shit that we seeing is crazy right now. I've been waiting on this since 2014. Like, as soon as I heard about James Webb, Hubble's successor, I was like, oh shit, it's supposed to come out in 2018, and 2018 came and went. So I've been on the edge of my seat for years. Hell, I started to think the motherfucker wasn't gonna go up. Like, they didn't even build that shit. This was a gimmick. Like, they was playing with my emotions at that point. So I'm enjoying it. I am.
I know you is, Joe. Hey, is they still connecting to those probes, Joe? Or the
Voyager?
Yeah.
Yeah. They just, I believe they're in a rest state right now, but yeah, they still connect to them.
What do you
It's
mean?
not,
they just showed some images in 4K that the two probes on Mars y'all talking about?
No, Voyager, the Voyager probes, the ones that's out the heliosphere and all this.
Oh, okay.
They launched back in 77. They way gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they still
them on every now and then. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. But the signal definitely is not as strong as it was. It's like it's a lot weaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still in kind of communication when they turn the bitch on.
For the astronomy buffs, when did Hubble go up? Because I remember as a kid, I remember when I was a kid, and we were doing our sort of courses about the solar system and all this, and that Hubble, the talk of the Hubble telescope was the biggest thing is like that was ever going to happen. We were kids, it's like, okay, well, someday the Hubble was going to be there and it's going to show us all of this information about the stellar space, right? But you say Hubble went up in the 90s?
Didn't it go up in 1990? The year I was born, I think.
Yeah, I believe. It was 1990. Yeah. Peace to you, man.
What's going on, Anthony? Peace, brother.
And again, this was like a dream. This was like a far dream for us back in, I think it was 86. This is when I was a kid in school, early like elementary, and that's what we were talking about. We was the far out dream was Hubble.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
but it was a big disappointment when it first went online.
Yeah, they had to go service it.
Yeah, the mirror was messed up, and they had to go up there. Well, they had to figure it out first, But once they figured it out, they got it right. They a few shuttle missions up to the Hubble, because it's orbiting the Earth. But they learned a lot out of those experiences that went into the development of the Webb. Because they was working on Webb, man, before they got Hubble up in the air. They was working on the next telescope, so. But yeah, Hubble, we've learned a lot from it, but it was a rocky start, man. The Congress was ready to pull the plug on it and everything. They tried to kill Hubble a couple of times. So.
Yeah, definitely. And
that's what
I was gonna say too, like when they do these launches, right? They don't like the next telescope or the next probe that they launch. It can't be the same technology as James Webb. Every time they do something, it has to be new technology. They're not allowed to put something in space that has the same technology that Hubble had, right? So they couldn't do another James Webb, something similar to the technology that James Webb. The next probe that they launch into space is going to have to be able to outdo James Webb the same way that James Webb is outdoing Hubble in some respects.
That's the piece that we talked about that you didn't necessarily bring. That's what I wanted to hear right there. Like, who knew that? Who the hell knows that? Really? Is it a reason behind them not doing that?
It's redundant. Like, you can't, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna pay for that? Because you know, you're talking $10 billion to put James Webb in the air. If I'm the one paying for that, and I see like, oh, this thing ain't gonna do much more than what Hubble did. No, you're not getting my 10 billion. You're not. I'm for what? Use Hubble again. Use that to do what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you got to be able to market that. Like, how can you market putting another probe in space when you ain't got nothing to say like that's gonna happen new? You ain't gonna have any new questions behind it. And that's what I was talking about earlier. This is the byproduct that you get out of James Webb. Is not gonna be some business bottom line, some business endeavor, some type of profitable byproduct, right? The byproduct that you're getting out of here is the only thing that this $10 billion is gonna give us is the next questions. You have to be willing. That's the biggest part. That's the most amazing part. You have to be willing to spend that type of money, not to get to the next answer, but to get to the next question. Who's willing to spend $10 billion to get to the next question to ask? Go ahead, y'all.
Right. And when you think about it, we're talking about like the different generations of technology, right? You have to keep in mind when you're doing something like this, and I don't know if Anthony or someone mentioned this earlier. Once it's up there, it's up there, right? You only get one chance to launch, right, a satellite into the Lagrange 2 point, right? You don't get another chance, right?
Right.
So what they have to do, right, is like, okay, well, we'll use the latest generation of technology available, and we deal with this with what we call mission critical customers, right? Inside of when you're doing technology, when you're deploying stuff, right? You don't want to be on the very, very bleeding edge when something has to be critical. When you're talking about critical performance, right? Because you don't want to deal with the bug. You don't want to have to deal with something that hasn't been tested thoroughly. You really want to be very conservative to what you put in space, right?
Right.
So that's what you end up seeing with the James Webb, right? So when they launch it, like for instance, you're going to use the very best of materials. You're going to use the very best of software code. You're going to use the very best of your launch vehicles at the time, right? Because you don't want to have to deal with anything that hasn't been thoroughly tested at the time, right? That's why it can be somewhat behind, right? But for instance, when we say something is behind, like a next generation or whatever, we're used to something like consumer electronics, right? The life cycle of things of space exploration is not 1 year. It's again, we're talking about decades. This stuff stays in service for decades. So their life cycle is a lot different from what we would normally think about the technology life cycle.
Right. And like you said, once it's in space, it ain't like you can go and do the upgrade on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put a new, they use a USB-C cable now. I ain't gonna go up there and put a USB-C
just with this particular room. If you guys see this room, right?
That's a clean room.
The amount of money just to have this atmosphere at this clean room, right? It's astronomical, right? Just to have a clean room of this size. Usually your clean rooms are very, very small. You're basically doing something with like a microprocessor. It's a very, very contained. You've got a clean room like the size of a gymnasium.
that gold plate right there is $1,200 an ounce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But to keep it sterile.
Before it's polished that way. Yeah.
Right. To keep it sterile is a thing of its own. Like Brandon is saying, it's so crazy to have a clean room the size of a warehouse and to be as diligent for how many years to keep this telescope at the level and that it needs to be in the function when it's in L2. Like, this is crazy.
And also, I heard yesterday, Anthony brought this up, and is basically piggybacking off what you just said, Brendan. They put these probes into space, and you just got the one chance to get things right. This thing, the chance was over while the thing was still on Earth. They have in that launch tube, right? It's a hole in the side of it. Once they got the James Webb in the apparatus that they were going to launch it in, right? It was a hole in it that they were going in and out of to work on it, right? To get it situated the way they wanted it situated, to do the last touch-ups or whatever, right? Once they sealed that hole up while it was still on Earth, right? That was it. That was there's no unsealing that hole anymore. That's when their chance was over, while the thing was still on Earth. I just wanted to highlight that. Like, it wasn't that it got launched and then that was it. No, it was still sitting here on Earth, and it was over with. What they had done better had been done. And it better had been done right, because once they seal that hole up, there's no unsealing that hole anymore.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? Some of the same technology that you're looking at, right, goes into giving you the capability to watch direct TV.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the same materials, they do the same thing. Yeah. Right? Again. You know,
but a lot
not to the extent, right? Yeah,
mm-hmm. A lot of that went into Webb. You know, all them probes they send out. The telescopes anyway. That technology has already been proven successful. You know, here on Earth. Mm-hmm. Like, if you look into the Keck Observatory out in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of earlier. Yeah, Keck, that's the name of it. Go ahead, though. Yeah.
They got, that's where the mirror technology for Webb comes from. I think it's one of them infrared cameras. I think it's that near cam.
It's the same technology. Yeah, it's the same mirrors, the same technology, and all of that.
So only thing they had to do for Webb, which was amazing. Don't try to, I'm not trying to downplay it. But the way as wide as the mirror is, they don't have a capsule, that it'll fit. So the folding of it and the unfolding of it and then the alignment of it, dude. Bro, you're talking about some mathematics.
Right.
Right. Look at this solid frame. Dude, look at this solid frame here.
Yeah.
Right.
You're talking $1,200 an ounce there. Not a pound.
It's just amazing. Right. To think, like you say, we've been on this planet how long and how old is this planet? But it's the strides that's been made in the last 100 years using technology is just crazy.
Scroll back up, Brendan, because I think people don't realize this either. Look at the size of that damn thing, right? When they show that James Webb, it always looks small in size, right? We don't understand the proportions. Like when you see the people standing next to it, right? Now you can see this thing, right? You see,
right?
What this thing's gonna be when it unfolds. You know what I'm saying, out there. That's a pretty large fucking significant object, right?
Tennis court. They say it's the size of a tennis court.
Yeah, that's
but you can
pretty
see
imagine the size of the launch vehicle.
Right.
This is a heavy, they put that in space with one of our heaviest vehicles that we have, right? For sure.
But it all had to fold up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it had to fold up and unfold. That the crazy
and then
part
get
is
into
the
space and
unfolding.
unfold it. Yeah, you know, it's dude. And it's a million miles away as it's doing this. So you can't call AAA. Hey, man, go check this out for me on that web. No, you can't do that.
But again, we remember we said that, well, you don't get the James Webb without the observatory at Night Pt2. When you don't get the James Webb, you don't get that launch vehicle without the spear.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Because it's the same, that rocket technology is the same fundamentally, right? Those aerodynamics, right? This goes back into those early spears, right? That Homo sapiens developed, right? So
definitely. Sure. Yeah. Trajectory, all of that is through spear work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. That's all important. That's all definitely important.
So let me
throw this in here real quick. All right. So you had that's why it's important, man, to look at the cosmos and stuff like that. This is what we look at. And y'all talked about one of the central elements to the mission would have been the clean room. Am I correct?
Right.
So, like I always tell people, look at the cosmos. So I'm gonna share my screen, right? Watch this. Now, this is my favorite goddamn episode. No lie. How they said, no cap. Go to Wikipedia, Cosmos Space Out. Honest, right? It's one of my favorite episodes right here. Watch this. Right? Claire Patterson. Who the hell is Claire Patterson? Right? The name of the episode is called The Clean Room. All right? Now, how we got to the damn clean room is super interesting. Hold on. Damn, man. Super interesting. Okay? So, Claire Patterson, all right, he was using a meteor crater. Okay? And he was looking at the strata and the rocks. All right? The meteors are coming from astro belt. All right? Now, we come down to here, right? We talk about Patterson. We graduated from under the advisor of Harrison Brown. Okay. So he's actually dealing with uranium counts, right? And he established the half-life of uranium decay. We talk about, I think it's Eva, what is it? 4.2 billion years? I believe that's the actual half-life or something like that.
Right.
But he developed this system, right? This half-life system of uranium, right? Now, why is this important? So when he was actually measuring the Earth, right, and the estimate of the Earth, right, it says Patterson found that his results were contaminated by the lead, okay, from, all right? He was trying to figure out where and how was it contaminated. So he actually, this pushed him. Watch how science pushed you. It pushed him to develop a clean room. And he was like, okay, I got it now, right? He go back and run the test again, and damn, right, the results are still contaminated. Like it was too much lead, right? So yeah, I got that right. Let me see. So Patterson was able to estimate the age of the Earth, right, at 4.5 billion years. But watch this. So he develops the clean room. Clean room thing don't work when it works, but it's still too much lead. And he said, well, why the hell is it still lead, right? So you come right here and say Tyson goes to explain that Patterson work performing a lead-free experiments directing him to investigate the source of the lead, right? So I was talking about how the contamination was. He was wondering, why is it so much lead, right? I went in the clean room. I developed that. That's not working. So guess what? He figured out, let me finish saying, it's a Tyson notes how lead does not actually occur at Earth's surface, but has been readily mined by humans, including the Roman Empire, and that lead poisoning to humans, that leads to poison in humans. Wait a minute. What is they all talking about? Watch this. Patterson examined, right, the levels of lead in common environment and deeper parts of the ocean of Antarctica ice, showing that lead had only been brought to the surface in recent times. Oh, what are we coming to? Well, watch how spectacular this is, right? So if lead had only been brought to the surface, right, during a certain time period, then why in the hell is all this lead here? Watch this. He would discover that higher levels of lead were from, look at this. I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong, but this is a form of lead, this tetralab. Am I saying that right? Tetralab.
Yeah.
Man, okay, what is this? This is a cheap product here, and it's in what? Y'all look, it's in leaded gasoline. Now, most of y'all on here don't know what the hell leaded gasoline is. You don't know what it is. I know what it is because my mom and them used to get gas, and I remember going to the pumps at about 3 or 4 years old, 5 or 6, and they was getting leaded gas. There wasn't no such thing as unleaded gas. Why am I talking about Mr. Patterson? One, right, he helped invent the clean room, which NASA uses today, which wasn't even a problem, which is very interesting to me. 2, he discovered that the goddamn lead was actually being released in the atmosphere by this particular product that the gasoline companies was using to cut the gas. Now watch this. It says, despite long established claims by Robert A. Keogh and others that this chemical was safe, Patterson would continue to campaign against the use of lead, ultimately resulting in the government mandated restrictions on lead. Now, this situation right here deals with a lot of things. 1, the clean room. 2, he established the age of the earth, right? They're still right there today, like that. They have not overthrown that, right? Based off lead. 3, he realized that, wait a minute, it's too much lead in the atmosphere, which was actually killing humans, right? So the byproduct of his investigations actually helped save humanity from being lead poisoning themselves to death. Remember, the Romans was doing it, and the Romans and the Vikings was doing it, right? Poisoning themselves to death. That's why he was crazy as hell, right? But the fact that he was able to figure that out is spectacular. Now, wait a minute. People will say, well, what if they got something wrong? Yeah, they got that shit wrong, using that byproduct. He actually went to the places where they was using this, and he started investigating. He found out that people was actually dying at the plants from this lead, getting lead poisoning. Oh my, right? Remember, he was actually getting funding from the oil companies themselves, right? So when you hear people say, well, companies, right? They hire their own scientists, right? To actually talk about the science that they're doing, and they make it safe. Yes, that's what they do. But wait a minute, Claire being on the outside, although he was funded by these big oil companies, he fought that. Now, what happened to him? Oh, he actually got fired. He actually lost all of his funding. Yeah, so I'm giving you clear examples of, scientists being misuse of science, right? And these corporations that people always talk about actually having science, right, that agrees with things. So see, now we got to get into the consensus. So over time, the consensus was that, yeah, this product that they're using that has lead in it, in the gasoline, really ain't good for humanity. That doesn't mean the thing was overturned right away, because it wasn't. The man lost his job, he lost his funding, but that issue kept coming up again. And it was time to really get the issue right. They called Claire back in, and he brought his scientific research that was there that overthrew what these oil companies was talking about. Yeah, that absolutely proves that, no, science and stuff like that ain't perfect. But at the end of the day, science is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? The only way to overthrow bad science is with good science. And for me, that was like one of the greatest episodes. I learned so much. So I hope y'all learned something from what I was just talking about and what we've been talking about. But how fascinating was that odyssey?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that because it ties into something that I said earlier. The most important thing to me in that, right, was he was doing science, right? He was exploring a new area of science, right? Just like what James Webb is doing. It's exploring a new area, right? And what that does and what happened was with the Claire guy, right? What happened and what was important to me was he developed a question to ask. That was the most important thing there. Why the fuck am I getting these high levels of lead? That was the question. That's what new science, that's what the frontier of science gets you. It gets you to the next question. And that's what's important. It's the next question that's important because that's what gets you the byproducts. That's what gives you the answers. And once you get that answer, you're going to get another question. And then you get that answer. And if you do the science right, if you keep doing the step-by-step science right, you're always going to come up with another question. That's real science, right? And that's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us having human beings not living to 30 and dying, not living to 50 and dying, but we living to 80 and 100 years old now, right? Because we've asked the right questions to get us to the place where we at now. It's all about being able to ask those questions and knowing the right questions to ask. Is this a relevant question? Is this question even a coherent question to ask, right? These are what this is what science is all about. And demonstrated that was the best demonstration of what I was talking about earlier. It was better than what I could have did any time. But go ahead.
Yeah, so man, how serious is that, man? You know that uranium 238, it actually decays to lead. What is it? Uranium, I think it's 238, decays to lead 206. Let me look that up real quick. I don't want to mess this up. Let me see. I think that's the rate. Yep. Uranium 238 decays to lead. When I say 208, it's 206, right? And man, that man kind of developed that system right there. So all of that, just off of that, man, is just like, it's mind blowing, man. So with your kids, man, sit them down, man, and watch those episodes, man. Like I mean, for the pseudos, it don't get no better than this. Like, you know, the pseudos come with the spectacular, super mystical. It ain't better.
I think damn it, I was watching Bill Nye earlier. He was doing an interview with the CBS newscaster, right? The newscasters, they just regular Americans, right? A newscaster will kind of let you know when they ask questions, they kind of let you know where America is as far as science goes, whatever. And she was asking some fairly good questions, but she was asking some nonsense questions. But when it was all over and said and done, right, she compared. She said she brought up the Star of Bethlehem. Is that right? I might be wording that right.
Yeah.
The star. Yeah. This was the G. So if you look at my avatar, right, and you see that the how the star got the spikes on it, right? You know what I'm saying? She referred to that. She said, "Well, that kind of reminds me the Star of Bethlehem, right? And my man's Bill Nye, he kind of chuckled and he laughed a little bit, and then he said, well, that's the thing, see, with this James Webb, we all get to satisfy our I guess I'm paraphrase, I guess. We get to satisfy our biases or our needs, right? So within this James Webb, right, you can get that. You can say, well, man, that's kind of reminds me of the Star of Bethlehem, right? This is kind of what you were saying. The pseudos can run off with this shit, right? And they can. It's a lot of different things, and I even thought of some of the things that if I was a pseudo that I could kind of get away with, with this James Webb. But it kind of allows everybody to kind of dip their hand in the bowl and be able to pull a little something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. It's fair, But, and like I said earlier, this is what science is all about. It's all about the argument. It's all about the disagreement. It's all about the debate. And that's where we that's what's gonna give us the reward. That's the reward that we're gonna get out of this: the debate, the argument, the hypotheses, the debunked hypotheses and theories and all of that, and the ones that prevail and the rest of it. But I want to shout out to a couple people out there. I'm been reading the chat. Jody Breeze, man, I appreciate that, man. He said he liked the way I break things down. I wonder about that. I always wonder, am I explaining myself in a way that's coherent, where people can actually understand it or digest it, in a way that's meaningful. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. That's very important, Jody Breeze, to me. That's
great job, yo. As long as you ain't talking about archaeology and shit.
Right.
Long as you stay out of the Great Rift Valley, you're doing
it.
Right?
Stay out of that, yo. Stay out of the Mediterranean. Mediterranean.
Well, I get on some history now, goddamn. I tell y'all about some history and some archaeology now.
Right. Jesus Christ, how can you be so good and
don't take it to the bank
on Earth? I don't understand this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, Sway?
Yeah.
Incoherent, messing it up, mixing dates and time. Well, you can get the 4.5 billion. You can get it to time, space, light, all that. Oh, the question. No. That's crazy. That's not a quick. You're like, really, nigga? You really that tight with that? Don't touch down on Earth, yo. You go from Cosmic Corey to crazy ass.
Right.
I go to Uther. I turn into Uther.
hey, bros, but you guys did a good job. But as an engineer, I get like really amazed in terms of the construction of these pieces here. I'm gonna share my screen just one last time.
Go ahead, as an engineer. Go ahead.
I'm gonna show you something.
Show off on them,
because this is what really sort of when I talk about the atmosphere, right, in the environment you have to build these kind of things. Like this is like when I got out of college, my first job that I had, the real job, was building like these flight simulators, things like this, these full motion flight simulators. I used to work with a company called Flight Simulator Corporation. This was like a company out of I think it was Oklahoma, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I think they're still in operation. And we build these flight simulators, right? And one of the biggest things, right, these are very expensive components. All right, we sold these to, you can imagine to whoever we sold them to, right? It was, airline companies to DOD, everything, right? Of course, they were tremendously expensive, high maintenance, and the components were very expensive. But one of the things that I noticed is that these is the environments that we used to build these in is very similar to those satellite environments, because when you talk about the heat is poison to electronic components. Right. So if you actually take a look, like when we used to actually build these things, like the room was ice cold. I'm talking about like freezing, because heat would kill your electronic components. Look at these guys that are walking around in here, right? These suits they have on, right? If you can imagine, right underneath, right, they look pretty bulky, right? This stuff is pretty bulky. The outline here, this is thin stuff they've got on. But you can see that, it's like they have a lot of underneath stuff going on underneath. That's because these rooms are ice cold, right? To support the operational temperatures that are needed to support this type of stuff, right? And then you have to do it without creating humidity, right? So how do you create a really, really ice cold or a cold operating temperature, right, to support these electronic components? Because you already know that the James Webb have these really sophisticated cooling components once it goes out into space, but you don't really activate those on Earth, right? So the room itself is ice cold, So being able to do this and sustain these types of temperatures where you're not creating the right types of humidity, where it's not raining off of the roof, right? That's a whole nother level of complexity in terms of engineering in and of itself. And it's extremely expensive to do so, so, but this is the type of stuff I look at, right? That really amazes me with the construction, right? The construction of these types of devices.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's, it takes a lot to even the whole, even to the organizer. Go ahead. You was gonna say something?
I said Brendan over there showing off, hitting them in the head.
Yeah.
That's man. See, I'm gonna listen to this show all damn week, the rest of the week, all weekend.
Yeah. Brendan, he kind of not lets on to his expertise and his education level, right?
Y'all did a good job, but.
No. It's
kind of belies his level of education on
He's sneaky.
we all have our lanes, right?
That's crazy.
We all have our lanes. Again, I don't know what you're looking at, but I can admire the construction.
Right? Definitely. Yeah. And we joked about that earlier. Everybody got their expertise, and I joked about how NASA, they build these, all this technology. They build these cameras that got 2 billion pixels, and shit like that, right? But they can't use it. They don't know how to use the camera to make a nice production, right? Because their production was lackluster like a motherfucker, in my opinion. Like, it was very, very lackluster. And but the thing is, these are the people these are the physicists that create these technologies that me and you kind of know how to use or whatever. They actually build it, but they don't know how to use it in the same way that the average tech person or media person knows how to use it, right? So that's kind of funny to me. You know what I'm saying? That these people is that smart, but yet they lackluster in their production. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's pull up another picture. Where you at, Vance? Vance ain't on here, but somebody on here. Here, let's pull this up real quick. Vance just said this in the thing. I'm not sure, but I know we wanted to kind of talk about this real quick. Man, let me see. I only sent the one photo, I think. Hold on. All right. Okay, let me share the screen and y'all can have at it.
Where Google Scholar at, man? I see you out there, Ross, man. You need to be on the panel too, man.
I know. So y'all, I know that's crazy. Y'all see the two pictures, right?
Yep.
Yep. The deep field, one is Hubble, one is Webb. Yep. See
the difference? Y'all want to talk about that?
Right. So, again, Hubble can't detect the mid infrared in a way that the James Webb can do that. Also, to get that picture, the Hubble picture, that probably took a month to get that developed in the way that is, right? Yeah. And you see it's kind of hazy a little bit, right? And then you look at the James Webb, right? And you see the clarity, right? There's no haziness there. Plus you can see, the color spectrum is a little better and it's a little more detailed, right? But the main thing is that probably took 12 hours to develop that, from the Webb. Whereas it took Hubble a month to develop that picture to get it back. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the major differences in those two different images there. Or it's the same image, but taken from two different instruments, I guess.
That's man. How do you say it? There's levels to this?
Yeah. It's levels. You gotta. That's the first. You see the I don't want to say first steps, but steps before Webb, and then you see where we at today.
Okay, let's do another one. All right. This is stuff we was talking about, man. Yeah, we be having the crazy top notch.
That's what you call a deep field image, just so people. You'll see images like that, and the basic. I mean, that may not be. They have a specific name for that deep field image, but that's what you call a deep field image there. Yeah.
Facts. Hold on, let me get this other deep field image. And nope, dang. Man, I want to be able to put. Shoot. All right, y'all can see this?
Yep.
There you go again.
All right, so this is before now. Okay, so the image on the right is the Webb, right? And this is what the Webb is looking at in the infrared. This is before it translates it back to you in the RBG, the red, blue, and the green, that the spectrum that we see with our eyes, right? So yeah, this is before it's translated back in the RBG right there.
Yeah, it make no sense.
Yeah.
Show him a picture, That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, jump. Somebody feel froggy, jump.
Yeah, and you can see where is that Hubble, the other image? I don't think that's Hubble, that other image, is it? That's the Spitzer. That's the Spitzer there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can see the haziness again. You see the haziness, right? And that's due. It's due to the technology, one, right? But also the Webb is in the Lagrange 2 point. So those mirrors at that temperature, they work at its best. You're seeing, what a telescope, what an observatory could do in the optimal temperatures. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. That's what keeps the haziness out of there. You know what I'm saying? And my man Anthony mentioned earlier the Keck in Hawaii, right? It's the same technology as Webb, right? But due to the temperature on the Earth, right, we can't get that telescope down to those -3 or those absolute 0 temperatures, right? So you're gonna have that haziness when you look through these, right? And here's my favorite image, and Hubble had already took this image, right? This is the Carina Nebula, right? The cliffs of creation. And you can see that Hubble had a problem seeing through the nebula, right? But with the medium infrared, it helps you look through those dust clouds, right? It basically helps you see right through those dust clouds, and you can see. So what we didn't see with the Hubble image, and what we're seeing here in the Webb is stars actually being born in the Webb cam. In the Hubble, the nebula was too thick. The stardust, the gas clouds, is too thick to actually see those pop stars, those stars being created.
Pop stars, first generation stars. That's the favorite stars right there.
Right. He call it the webcam.
Yeah.
Corey is building some he's building the lingo as he goes. This is good.
Right.
Dude, you might need. Hey, I think you got a second career in popular science.
I aspire to be the next David Etcher, man. I aspire to be a David Etcher type guy. You know?
Stay out of Egypt, yo. You will get this. That's all you gotta do. Stay out of Egypt. I got you about 10 years in hard copies of archaeological surveys that say, I bet you can.
Corey, we're gonna drown him either in the Mediterranean or in the first cataract, the waters of the first cataract. One of the two.
I go down in the Mediterranean, man. I could have a watery grave, man, in the Mediterranean.
Fayum, we're gonna get you stuck in Fayum.
I'll reside next to the Great Ut, man.
Oh man.
We can argue about everything. We can't even argue no more. Nah, yo, the Mediterranean was dead. If I know it wasn't, it was. Yes, it was. Nah, why woo. Bet you they won't drink that salt water though.
Not at all. And those bodies. It's like, we can't find them.
Where are they? We're looking for them.
The Fayum bodies.
Yeah, we're looking for them. The ghosts of Fayum.
All right.
Holler at me when they get them. Crazy, man. Yeah, I ain't gonna muddy the waters on that.
This is the second half of the show. I was supposed to go in on Youssef, but as the conversation is still interesting on the science.
Oh yeah.
Youssef might get a break today. I don't know.
You mess with Ben, yo. He got a street named after him.
I need Sheffrin. Sheffrin gonna get me started, right?
Yeah, Q, come on, Q. Q asked Kenny, come on. Just long as you.
Yeah, Q, come on. I'm not arguing no monkeys over Q.
Not the monkey business.
No, we're not talking monkeys today, Q.
We're not going to You always welcome though, Q.
For sure, jump on, bro.
Yeah, but you muddy the water hard. They come from monkeys.
Rasta man say the pillars of creation. What do you say about the pillars of creation? That used to be one of my favorite images.
Jehovah Witness image, wasn't it? What about the Jehovah Witness?
No, let's pull that up. I thought I had it up.
The hand of God. That's
what the hand of God, Jehovah Witness. Yeah. How did they get that first? Because God sent it to them. 1960s. God sent them.
Yeah, I used to like the pillars of creation because before a lot of creationists would try to use a bunch of bullshit to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So that used to be a very interesting topic. That was one of the images that was kind of controversial in the layman's community. I mean, obviously science ain't having any controversy about that image, but yeah, out here in the layman's.
Yeah, where'd they get that from, the pillars of God? Where'd that come from? Where that image come from?
That was from Hubble. Hubble did that one. Yeah.
Oh man, I like to see that now. That should be so crystal clear. They probably think that's Yahweh.
Well, you wouldn't see the fingers. You wouldn't see. All you would see through that cloud at this point. You could see like the silhouette of it, of the cloud, right? But yeah, see, that's the hand of God right there, right? And so with the James Webb, you wouldn't be seeing any of that. you'd see kind of a silhouette of it, right? But what you would be doing is you would be peering through that dust cloud and looking at the actual stars being born.
Yeah. Oh, that's why they call it the hand of God, because it does look a little bit.
It looked like fingers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's the pillar. It's right. Some people, I think the official name was the Pillars of Creation, but they got nicknamed the Hand of God. Yeah.
And that was by the Hubble?
Yeah, that was by Hubble there. Yeah.
Okay.
And even Hubble, I want to point out in this image, right? Even Hubble had the same kind of effect when you were looking, when the stars were close and you're looking past those stars. Mm-hmm. You can see that that's a couple of those stars, a few of those larger stars, closer stars rather, have those spikes on them, right? You still get that same effect, right? So I just wanted to point that out.
Crazy how the religion can take an image.
Right.
if you squint hard enough.
Right.
It's like,
I mean, it actually looks like a hand to me. Like, I mean, it really does.
That's a Thanos glove, right? That's a Thanos glove.
Yea, do we walk through the valley of death?
That's Ra grabbing a hold of another star. You know what I'm saying?
And that is waters of none. Doggone. Yeah, man.
Right. Somebody, Cube say drop the link.
It's pinned up. It's pinned up, Cube. Knock it off.
Oh, is it pinned?
I don't think so.
Not on my end. It ain't pinned.
It's not pinned. I'll drop.
Okay.
Let's see.
See if I can
pin okay. Maybe it's not.
Philo Mathematic say Corey on fire. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate that.
You put on the clinic tonight, man.
It's pinned up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, where is that?
And everybody learning with me. Like I ain't, like I say, I'm not somebody who's a expert on this, right? I'm just an enthusiast on this, right? So it's in the same way that somebody may be able to run down, college stats, from a football game that happened in 1989 or something. That's a real football enthusiast to me. When you can run down those stats from these games, from back in the day, you know what I mean? Those are the real football enthusiasts to me. And that's just basically all I am is a astrophysics enthusiast, man. I read all of the information. I watch the lectures. I do the great courses. I purchase the journals. All of that, you know what I mean? And we all do it, like I say, we have these discussions on iPhone and the rest of it. So, I'm just learning just the way everybody else is learning. And, maybe I can articulate what I actually read. And that's my main thing, right? That's my whole goal is mostly is for my kids, right? To be able to articulate what those experts are saying in a way where I can explain it, in a coherent way to a child or to one of my kids or to my homeboy or when, I'm having a beer in the garage with my dad or, whatever, just being able to articulate that, in a layman's terms and to get other people interested or enthusiastic about, the field of science itself.
Yeah, to be able to actually, articulate the literacy of the day, man. We seen how important that was when the pandemic popped through. We seen how important it was. Well, and I gotta go back to the shows, man. The shows are so important. Like, go back and look at the downloads, man. Like, we kind of set you up real pretty for the James Webb, talk about things you just wasn't finding around here. And I think it's important, man. It's dope, man, to be able to, to sound articulate that with your kids, right? To really, when they can come to you and say, well, what is this? What's that? Well, that's this, that's that. And just, it's always a great day for me and my kids just be laughing at the TikTok videos that the pseudos be making. They be like, man, that's just slap crazy, man. Like, nobody's listening to that. And that's all I ever wanted was to make sure my kids had filters, not to pick their God for them, not to say they atheists, not to say none of that, but just to be able to look at real life situations and stay focused and stay in reality, right? Because if your kids stay in reality, they absolutely have a better chance than kids that don't stay in reality. And this I promise you.
Absolutely.
Got 13-year-olds shooting each other. Like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, why is that your go-to, your mode? You know what I mean? What you're delusional. You break out and shoot somebody and not realize you're going straight to jail. You're delusion. It's delusion. You're not in reality. You're not monitoring that situation. That's it's a crazy. It's real crazy.
What's up, man? I'm in there like Subway. What's good, man?
We chilling. You know what it is. Don't stop.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna say this real quick, man. Man, you my man on some SHIT. I don't know if we're cursing over here, but I was telling a few brothers of mine, like, the people was looking at it. They're like, damn, man, you going back and forth with Unc? I'm like, nah, man, I sent Unc every video I ever made about him. Like, I ain't going back and forth with Unc. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing. Because bro, I sent you every video I made and it wasn't no thing. Like, I'm on your helmet, don't get me wrong, but like, I'm like, yeah, Unc is cool, man. Unc is like, we fighting the same fight. Like, we may have our little intermediary joints, but like, we're on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we can definitely disagree. That's part of science, boy. You ran up against that. You ran up against it, though, Cube. I was trying to tell you, man.
Yeah, but
we do such a good job. We do such a good job of explaining, science and monkeys and see. But I get what you're saying when you say it, though, Q.
Don't, bro. Please don't say that.
No,
bro,
I'm just making a point. No.
It's gonna sound like you agreeing with me. Don't say that.
Listen, bro. It's the same thing we talk about fish, bro. It's the same thing. But you gotta know the scale. Like, I'm not gonna jump out and say, yeah, we are fish. Like,
I know, bro, but why you? But see,
don't do that. That's not.
Bro, listen.
It's an elegant way to say it. Look, watch how elegant I say this.
Watch this.
The human body is a museum of all things it came from. You see how elegant that is?
I can respect
that. Captures it. You see how?
I get it, bro. I get it, bro. Bro, I totally get it, bro.
Yo, niggas is monkeys. You done took them right back.
But listen. This is why.
Eloquence, bro.
When I tell people who don't understand it and they think that me and you going back and forth on some like SHIT, like Sugar Honey, I said, but like, nah, me and Unc is cool. Like, people hit me up like, yo, you and Unc is going back. I'm like, nah, Unc is my man. Like, this, like, nah, he good for real. Like, he good for real. So like,
you just wanted the attention, Cube. I get it, bro.
No, it's not, bro. But it's not even.
That.
No, but it's not even that, bro. Like, it's not even that, because like, I can show you some stuff that. Listen, can you be honest enough to say that you don't know everything?
Man, yeah, I don't know everything, bro.
And that's the same with me, bro. Like, I don't know everything.
Jesus
so
I'm a novice.
But see, this is the thing, bro. Like, and this is why I respect you, because like, I'm gonna tell you, bro. I didn't become an atheist off of what you was doing, but when I became an atheist, I fully respected. Like, cause I didn't respect what you was doing because I was a fake Black Hebrew Israelite. But once no, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Once I became an atheist, bro, like, you was that dude. You had already solidified your spot. you was that dude, and I was like, yeah, and like he's on point with what he's doing, and I never tried to knock it. But at the same,
hey, I can't keep it to give it away though, Cube and Cube, and that's where everybody fuck up at, yo. It's hard to fight against. You fighting against a system at the end of the day. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk. Everybody talk shit about Son to make rule, but he's clearly the first person, one of the first people that was actually having a platform outside 125th, right? So nobody can take his space. Like that space is
it's his. He owns that.
You can say better than him and do more, but talk all shit. But you could never take that. It's too late. He got a spot that can't nobody. It's too late.
And see, you know what, bro?
You fighting against a fucking. How you want? You know how you fight against the myth, bro? Like you're not going.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Like my brother said, Wesley Snipes. He said it's always a motherfucker trying to ice skate uphill. And what you did, bro, you had basically cornered the market on the shit. And like everybody was ice skating uphill. Any black atheists that tried to come behind you, bro, they was ice skating uphill. So I understood that. So I never tried to come behind you and come and try to take on the shit that you was doing. So I was doing my own thing. But at the same time, though, if I seen the nigga that was doing something that was maybe wrong, that's when I will step in. But bro, you was doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you was really, bro, you was really doing your thing. And you was doing your thing.
Don't get caught in the gravitational field, nigga.
Never that, bro. Like I'm always gonna, bro. I'm always gonna be doing my thing too. But at the same time, though, I've always respect. Like even bro, even when I first became an atheist, bro. Like I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like on some real talk, I was a fake Black Hebrew Israelite when I first caught wind of you, and you was pulling out the books and like killing niggas. But like, it really didn't affect me because I was like, man, he's just pulling up BS. But once I actually started to look at those old videos that you was doing, like back 10 years ago, 50, well, now it's like really like 15. Like really now it's like 15, 20 years ago.
Had a TV show, nigga. Ain't nobody had that atheism in the Bible Belt, nigga. See the difference?
No, but what I'm telling you is, bro, you was in Atlanta doing this shit. Is what I'm telling you.
Bible Belt.
Yeah, exactly. The Bible Belt. Yeah, you're right. The Bible Belt.
Yeah, full production show. Let me let you in the secret. Here's a secret for you. You see how them probes that they sent out, they don't fight against the sun, Joe. They actually use the gravitational fields of the sun.
Facts.
To push them out.
That's facts.
Where most people fuck up is they try to go against the grain for no reason. Like, I'ma concede, nigga, if you got something that's there, yo, I'ma let you shoot off the gravity, nigga. But if you go against the shit, you don't fuck yourself up for no reason. I ain't trying to I ain't the motherfucking science master. I ain't the expert, nigga.
But hold on. But with me, you try to do the extra shit with me for some reason. I don't get it.
Cause you extra with me. I'm an extra dude anyway. Listen, that's my brand to be extra. You going against the
listen. Hey, you know what's so funny? I'm an extra nigga too.
Right.
But like, you try to do the extra shit with me. I would have never done it with you, but you try to do the extra shit with me. Bro, you started with me first, bro.
Yo, here goes some extra shit. Because y'all gonna start up and it's gonna be play fighting and then y'all gonna start up.
We ain't gonna do that. We in a different space.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this. No,
we might get that. I don't know. I'm gonna stop.
No, I'm just gonna say this. When I used to first come on here, bro, Unc used to fuck with me until I used to like do little stuff, and then like he started saying like, damn, this nigga, bro, he treated me like Double X on some shit. But see, like Double X, like kind of like dissipated and went and like just left. I'm the nigga that never left.
No, I actually talked to Double X.
No, you used to fuck with Double X, bro.
I fuck with him like he fuck with me. I mean, like X be wrong about shit in the conversation. I be wrong about shit in the conversation, and we two wrong motherfuckers arguing,
bro.
And
I'm gonna tell you.
And so, listen, bro. Listen, trust me, yo. we both be wrong about shit. We all on this motherfucker be wrong and we be arguing.
Yeah, but
that ain't
you
even
took
a
it
problem. The
but you
problem
took,
is, nigga,
bro, you
on.
used to take it. Bro, you used to take it a different way with
No,
me,
I
bro.
didn't
I'm
take it a
telling
different
you.
way. I didn't.
Yes, you did, bro. You did the same thing with Double X, bro.
No, I didn't, yo. Listen, I'm saying is, nigga, everybody gotta know where the fuck they at sometimes, yo. There's a movie theater, yo. Let me show you something. There's a movie theater, nigga. The key is don't get put out the movie.
Bro, I never forget, bro. The first time I ever talked to you on some shit, I came on here with Double X, and I came on this bitch, and then I was saying some shit, and he was like, "Oh damn, nigga, what the fuck?" Like you just like spazzed on me on some shit, and I was like, "Oh,
really,
like, bro? I swear to God, bro, you spazzed on me, bro." And
I apologize. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna apologize for my role.
No, you good, bro. Listen.
Hold on.
Listen.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, yo, I ain't the perfect guy, right?
No, I don't give a fuck about that. Is what I'm saying.
Q, let me talk.
All right, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
You do give a fuck, else we wouldn't be talking about it. I give a fuck, right? What I'm telling you is, bro, one thing I do got, I got a hell of a motherfucking tracking radar motherfucking system.
And you got a mouth, nigga.
I know, hold on. Yeah. So I'm saying is, my radar and my antennas are there. I know when you getting at me, nigga. Like, I know when you getting at me. Before the crowd hear you getting at me, I already know the punch is coming, nigga. So don't get mad at me if I'm already ducking, nigga, and swinging before the crowd sees the shot. Don't hate me, nigga. Hate the game, nigga. If I'm wrong, I'll be like, all right, I apologize. There's somewhere along the line, like, yeah, I was trying to. Yeah, you. Nigga, that's. Bro, I mean, you Hollywood, dog. Hold on, bro, you Hollywood, yo. That's how you get down. Yeah, you get down. I'm telling you, yo, you loud. The things, all that shit. That's your persona, bro. That's cool.
Bro, you forget, bro. I was correcting you on shit. I was correcting you on shit when I first came on the scene, bro. I was correcting you on shit, bro.
See how you go? You right.
See, look at you. Now you looking at it like,
you was correct. You was trying to tell me about some atheism that I made up. How the fuck you gonna correct me?
No, bro, you didn't. Bro, see, there you go. There you fucking go. You doing the same shit.
Dude, it's dumb if a man makes some shit up and say, yo, I made that up, right? You can't correct it. There is no correction on something I made up.
Bro, you don't even remember when we first used to politic, bro. I was correcting.
Tell me,
bro, listen, do you, bro, well, let me just tell you.
That's fine. No, what was it did you correct me on? Let's see if you was right. No, go ahead.
Let me just tell you, because when we first met, you was correcting me on some shit. Like, this is what you used to tell me, bro. You was like, Q, you can't take this fucking stance. And for like a whole year, I was taking, because I was a hard atheist, remember? And then remember when I came back to you and I said, bro, you know what? Nah, you can't be a hard atheist. And remember what you told me? You was like, bro, see, now you came back around to me. You told me this shit. You was like,
so what was it you corrected me on? Okay, so you showed that side. What's the side that you corrected me on? Go ahead. Let me see if you was right. Let me see if I'm willing to argue at your ass again over. Go ahead. What was it?
Bro, I can't remember all of the shit.
Oh, man, you can't remember. See? You can remember the case in other ways.
See, there you go with the bullshit, bro.
Yo, how you gonna forget this shit? This gonna give you value.
Okay.
That's your first mistake. Don't give me value. You gave me value just now. Hold on. I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to show you something. Yo, you literally gave me value.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
I'm not. I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to show you.
There you go. All right, I'm listening.
Listen, pay attention, bro.
You always want me to listen like I'm some young boy. Like,
no, man. See, now you take.
You
now
always do this shit.
See now, right, okay. Ahead, see, it's something you got against people that's older than you.
Bro, I'm over 30 years old.
So let me finish. You making James right? Yo, you making James right, yo. Let me finish, yo. If you think I'm trying to son you, yo, then you're wrong.
I'm over 30, bro. Like,
and you're wrong, but I'm not trying to son you. I'm trying to tell you something. Like you gonna be able to tell me something. So just let me tell you something, nigga. You don't gotta accept it. That's what y'all niggas do. You don't let a nigga tell you something.
But you be trying
that's the difference between me and you. I let a nigga tell me something, Q. Then I cuss you out for it. But at least let the nigga tell you something. That's another part you fuck up at. Let me say, yo, you just gave me value, bro. But your inability, right, to allow me to give you value is where you fucked up at. No matter what you say, they all looking, bro. So I'm gonna give you another shot at it. What was it that you corrected me on that I can sit here as a man and say, damn, nigga, you was right? That would actually give you value to what you're trying to do, Q. Come on, bro. Yo, we're in a prize fight, nigga, at all times.
Let me turn my camera on.
What was it that you corrected me on, bro? I'm not selling you. I'm simply trying to give you some value. That's it.
All right. No, it's okay. Let me. I'm about to turn my camera on in a second. But one thing that you tried to sum me on, which I actually got you on, and this is about the sun you part. Go ahead. Man, come on, bro. Like, let me just get to you.
Go ahead.
Now you good. The first thing that I actually fucked your head up on that you didn't have no idea on is that I was telling you that Europeans, their brains are getting smaller. And you was like, nigga, you sound crazy. And like you muted my mic on some dumbass shit. And then hold on, man. Don't be nutty about it. You muted my mic on some shit, and then you looked it up, and then you know what you said? Damn, Cube, you're right about that. You said, damn, Cube, you're right about that. Because I was saying European brains are actually getting fucking smaller, and you didn't even know that. And you was like, man, you sound nutty. You sound dumb. You was going in on my ass, bro. You was going to fuck in on me. And then once you actually looked at it, the second, fall back, all this crazy stuff. Yeah. But once you looked it up, you was like, damn, Cube, you're right about that. You told me this shit, bro, face to face, bro. Bro, this was our first interaction. I didn't even know you like that because niggas, you know what niggas was telling me? Because I was the only atheist in my community because I used to fuck with Solomon. I was the only atheist in that community. Niggas was like, yo, you gotta fuck with the nigga. I knew of you like how you used to be on Sinetta, all of that shit, but I never messed with you like that. You know what I'm saying? I never messed with you like that because I never learned atheism from you. Like that was never something that I learned from you. So like, I was just like, whatever. But that day, like you did give me a little bit of respect and I appreciate that. You did tell you was like, damn, Cube, you're right about that. But it took me after like my third time coming that you actually was like, damn, I looked up what you said and you're right, bro. Oh, look at you shaking his head like, no, it's not right. Bro, that's what you said, bro.
Yeah, I can't even give you back, yo. You do too much, yo.
But what am I doing that's just so bad? Like, cause this is what I be saying, bro. Like, y'all just be doing the most.
Nah, I'm gone, yo. I'm saying you just do too much, yo. I remember the whole vaccine thing, the polio shit. You just did too much. Like you.
When was I against the vaccine?
Area, what you think is a crack, and you overextend the bounds, and you wait.
When was I against the vaccine? Because you just said the vaccine. When was I against the vaccine?
You talking about the polio vaccine injury, some of the polo.
When was I, bro? Okay, bro. Listen, see now that's so lie, bro.
I know I was.
Bro, I came on here, bro, and I even told y'all bro, hold on real quick. When you and Sean was on here, bro, and see, this is the sad part with, and I gotta say this, niggas play bullshit games. Because when I was on here, bro, I even gave, let me say this, bro, because you and Sean, when y'all was cool, I came on here and I gave thanks to you and I gave thanks to Sean because I said thank you so much because especially for the information that Sean was putting up. I said, yo, thank you to Sean because he gave me the ability to talk to my family members to where I can actually repeat some of the things that he was saying to give it to my family members, bro. I said that. And that's what's so crazy about it, because I actually talked some of my family members into getting the goddamn shot, into the vaccine. This is what's so crazy, is that you try to look at me like I'm just some old nerd nigga, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just making up stuff. Bro, no, I said I appreciate Sean. And that nigga Sean always like gets on my case for like no reason whatsoever. What's like, he just like, I don't know what it is. Like that nigga just don't fuck with me. But the truth of the matter is I've always bigged up that brother Sean, bro, because you and that brother, mainly Sean, you was at the forefront, but that brother Sean, was putting, Sean P, that brother was putting in work. You was putting in work and you did the debate and all of that. But that brother Sean, bro, when that brother was talking, I don't care what nobody say. That brother was putting in work and you can't tell me no different. That's why I told that brother to his
face. Why don't you go tell him though?
I told him that. And that's why I'm telling you.
Yeah, go get that nigga some views, yo. And go tell
I got
him.
a question for
I don't
Corey.
hear that shit. Go tell him. Go support him. Right. That's
I got a question for Corey.
See, this is the crazy shit.
Nah, nigga, it ain't crazy. I'm giving you reality, nigga. Go tell that nigga. Don't tell me. Right.
I got a question for Corey.
Don't do no benefit for me. But I'm gonna play this though in memory of you. This what I want to play real quick. Here we go.
Hey NPR, tap the play button to hear from StoryCorps with a story of.
Hold on.
It's a bedtime story.
Large Hadron Collider is smashing atoms, blowing scientific minds. Research shows that we as a species are actually seeing our brains get smaller. Kathleen McAuliffe writes about human evolution for Discover magazine, and she stumbled upon this story of the amazing shrinking brain while researching a different story. Well, I was interviewing the anthropologist John Hawkes about his genetic research related to human evolution, when he added, just sort of as a casual aside, that the human brain is shrinking. And I said, what? I thought it was getting bigger. And he said, no, that was true for 2 million years of our evolution. But then about 20,000 years ago, there was a reversal. And our brain has been getting smaller and smaller ever since. Wow, that is really shocking.
So freeze. We're listening to the experts. And we're hearing exactly what they're saying. We're not adding no yeast to it. We're listening. We're paying close attention to what they're saying about the brain and how it's getting smaller. Let's continue.
How much smaller are our brains from those of our ancestors? Well, the humans who had the largest brains are the Cro-Magnons, who lived 20 to 30,000 years ago in Europe. The missing chunk of brain matter is roughly equivalent to a tennis ball in size. That's about a 10% shrinkage. What are the implications of this? As a species, are we dumbing down? Well, the funny thing is that even the experts don't know for sure. Now, in your article for Discover, you focused on a researcher named Geary. How did he see this? David Geary, he is a cognitive scientist at the University of Missouri, and he subscribes to the idiocracy theory. Did you ever see the film Idiocracy?
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point.
A perfectly average guy called Joe.
Gentlemen, meet Joe Bowers, our first subject for the human hibernation experiment.
And when he wakes up 500 years later, he finds himself on a dumbed-down planet where he's easily the smartest person around.
So you're smart, huh? No. But your hair would be bigger.
And Geary.
So we're waiting for some key words here. We're not quite hearing them yet, but I'm sure we're gonna hear it. Let's see.
He thinks something a little bit like this happened to us. Just around the time when we see brain size decreasing, the human population is going from very sparse to dense in different parts of the world. And it's just at that point when you're seeing the beginnings of society springing up. There's more division of labor, more complex interactions between people, trade springs up between groups. And so you don't have to be as smart to stay alive. Kathleen McAuliffe, her article in Discover magazine is on the shrinkage of the human brain. Thank you.
So there we go. And don't hate me, hate the game. Like, what are we talking about here? This lady actually did the research, right? I heard her say nothing about the Negro brain getting smaller, the European brain. I heard none of that. So excuse me, Cube. Excuse me if I have pushback. That's my job. That's what I signed up for. You might have 90% of the shit right and throw the 10% in. That's something you normally do. You throw the 10% monkey wrench in the shit. And this is where we have friction at, is that 5% that you throw out there. I'll be like, damn, I'm trying to give them value. And here we go again. So maybe you got a source, because we right back at that spot again, that literally says Europeans' brains, right, are getting small. What I'm hearing is the human brain is getting small. So you're actually saying that not only is the human brain getting small, but European brains are getting even smaller. Man, pseudo killers.
So was that the division of labor? What we see in civilizations usually, the progress, right? The division of labor. I don't have to be a house builder. I don't have to be a fisherman. I don't have to be a farmer, right? As civilizations sort of advance, we don't have to. It's the division of labor. Right?
It seems that seems to be plausible right there, but it seems like you didn't have to do as much as like it's interesting. Yeah, like right now we just, you don't even gotta go to the market. You hit the button, boop, 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 and the market comes to you. So is that making us dumber? I don't know, bro.
No, maybe this conversation continuing on might make us a little bit, But I got a question for Corey. Along the telescopic line.
I think he jumped off.
What's the question though? Let's see if we can handle it though. He jumped, he died.
Okay. All right. If
are you about to fight something though? Are you about to fight something?
No. It's not a fight because I missed most of his presentation, and seeing the PBS nice episode yesterday regarding this thing. I noticed that the Hubble's limit was 500 million years after the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
And the advantage of the JWST is that it can extend that to 200 years after the Big Bang. My question is, if the Big Bang is unknown, how can they quantify the 500 million and the 200 million of the new telescope? And I'm back quiet.
Did you say 200 years or did you say 200 million years?
Yeah, it's after the Hubble's limit was 500 million years after the Big Bang. And the advantage of the James namesake telescope is 200 million years after the Big Bang.
Okay. So
you see the catch question. I know I picked up on it already.
You can't go but so far back, right? Is that sort of
that's I'm hinting at that also, but I'm just talking about the quantifiable. I'm saying if the Big Bang is unknown, how can you tell me it's 500 years after the Big Bang?
It's crazy as hell. I knew you was gonna do it. I was like, man, is you gonna? I mean, let's all be quiet and let you think about that for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. Like, okay, look for the published time of the Big Bang because there's gonna be differences on that. There's gonna be differences of opinion.
I know. So then basically what you saying, they lying? Let's just get straight to it. I don't feel like going around the bush. Are you saying that they conspiracy lied about this? Let's get it out. I'm
saying the images are computer generated for the benefit of their delusion of fake supremacy.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad we got straight to it.
All right. So we don't have to beat around the bush.
Because
y'all went to the Wayback Machine right there, smacking each other pee around. God dang.
Yo, they spent that kind of money, just to do that, yo. Are you shit? Google Scholar, where you at, man? I cannot believe, and you still ain't got vaccinated neither, yo. After all that misreading shit, you drinking some herbal tea.
No, listen, you already got dinged for bringing up COVID, didn't you? Y'all got to cool out on COVID talk,
We ain't get done.
The pseudo talk y'all be talking about. Y'all gonna get dinged again with your pseudo talk about COVID.
Google Scholar, how you doing, man? This man here, boy, he never stops, boy. He sits in his house. What's up?
Is he a flat earther, the brother, if I could ask?
No, definitely not.
No, the reason I asked is because another flat earther told me the same thing today. About them about it's a fake image. It was made by Photoshop.
No, I didn't say that. I said nothing of the sort.
No, I'm talking about what the brother said to me today, not what you said. So what I'm asking you, why do you believe that the image was not taken by the James Webb telescope?
Again, I don't believe that. You're putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said.
What did you say?
I said the images were computer generated.
What does that mean?
And they are. Listen, Corey explained how. He explained, I mean, this is how it works. This is the science. It's got to be run through the brain housing group of a computer to come up with the images. My contention is those images with the multicolors of Joseph's raincoat is generated for the benefit of their delusion of fake supremacy. This is for their shit. That's all I'm saying.
I want to slow it down with, what do you mean? What do you think it means when they say the images are computer generated?
In order for us to have something to look at, to go through our little brain housing group through the eyes, the way our eyes work, that's what I mean. I mean that it goes through some sort of logarithm, and believe me, I'm not a telescopic expert, right? I mean, I look with my eyes. I live in Arizona. I fly through the air. I'm normally at thousands of feet in the air, and I look at the sky from a different, I know how the eyes work. If you look 5 degrees off, you can look at one star, and when you look that 5 degrees off, you can notice it's a cluster of stars. So I see it from a naturalistic view. I don't see it through I don't normally look through a telescope, even though I have. I look for it to magnify images. But when you're talking about this type of millions of years after the Big Bang and seeing almost into the past that far, it takes imagination to come up with an image that your eyes can see, all right? And that's got to go through, and they create that process.
All right.
Scientists. I meant scientists create that process.
Let me explain a little bit as I understand it, because I'm not an expert, but I think I have a little bit of understanding of what's happening, right? So if you were to look through a telescope at the same patch of sky that the James Webb telescope is looking at, all you would see are dots, and you wouldn't see all the dots of light either. You would see a few. But because the James Webb telescope is further out into space, and it has a shield and everything, there's no light pollution. And because it has a camera attached to the telescope, it can look at the same spot for days or hours, and it draws in that light, and the data is transmitted to Earth. Now, when they say computer generated, what they mean is that they take all the different images that the camera has taken, and they put it together in different wavelengths of light, different colors. Now, what the generation that the computer is doing is combining all of that to make one picture. But that doesn't mean that's not actually what the camera took. It is. It's just that if you want to say, it takes it in stages, and then the computer combines all of it together. So it's not a fake image as people try to make it look when they say it's computer generated, right?
And Google Scholar, I jumped on just for this question, and I'm gonna jump back off, right? But
all right, go ahead.
Thanks, man.
This is the great thing about the James Webb telescope, right? And I answered. I kind of preempted this question because I knew people were gonna have this question or have this contention with the telescope, right? So I kind of touched on it earlier. So if you watch the other show, you'll hear the answer to that. But I'll go ahead and elaborate on it again, right? So what you're seeing, right, in these images, right, is you're seeing these images are revealed to you at first in the near infrared, and then there's two tools on board. There's a near infrared tool and there's a medium infrared tool on board, right? Now, when you look out, you talked about how you look out to the sky and you notice stars, and then you can look over and you can see another cluster of stars, right? When you look out, right, your vision translates back to your brain in the RBG, the red, the blue, and the green, right? What Webb is doing, what Webb does is he sees these images in the medium infrared. Your eyes cannot see the medium infrared, right? James Webb can see the infrared and medium infrared and near infrared and all of that. So if what I'm saying to you is, if your eyes could see the medium infrared spectrum, those images that James Webb are bringing back to you would be what you see. The difference is, and this is what's so amazing about James Webb, is these are not the computer generated images that you saw like with Hubble, the other, what was the other, Kepler and the rest of them, right? So those you have to do an overlay. You have to lay a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer to get the image that, like you would see with my avatar, right? To get that RBG spectrum, that red, blue, and green spectrum, right? But what James Webb does is it sees the image in infrared, right? But it translates it back to you immediately in the RBG, right? So that's these are actual real pictures. These are not the same as a Hubble picture where it's a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. These are actual pictures that you actually would see if your eyes in your head could actually see infrared. So I just wanted to point that out to you.
That's a pretty good explanation.
All right. Yeah, because I know a lot of people is going to have that contention, because that was one of the contentions with Hubble and the rest of the observatories, right? That these is computer generated images and these ain't really the way space looks for real, whatever. But James Webb actually confirms that those overlaid images that we've seen before with Hubble and the predecessors of James Webb, right? That proves to us that these images are real. The pillars of life that we talked about earlier, right? Those images are real. This is the confirmation. James Webb is the confirmation of all of those earlier images that we were so used to seeing. You know what I mean? Like the Crab Nebula, the Tarantula Nebula, all those popular nebulas that we used to seeing. This James Webb actually confirms that. Yeah.
Understood. My contention is that because it looks so much like two different universes between the Hubble and the James Webb, right? This time you can almost make it resemble a Christmas nativity scene in their Christendom. You understand?
They talked about Bethlehem, the Star of Bethlehem. Yeah, I talked about that earlier.
I don't put past how they work on a nigga mind.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So and they laughing
at me right
too.
now.
No, it's real, because actually and I talked about that earlier. The newscaster that was interviewing Bill Nye the Science Guy actually brought your whole talking points. All of your talking points, she brought those up. So, you like I said, she was a reflection of America, right? And so that proves it, right? You come on here and you have some of the same questions. So, Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with those questions. I don't have any objections to those questions. They actually they add clarity to some of the things that I talked about if I wasn't so clear on them before.
Well, as a matter of fact, I am really satisfied with some of the questions. I mean, it's basically 3 issues I brought up so far coming up, bothering Unc and Julanda and Brendan and Chef. But I mean, there's some concerns, but the fact is that the questions are answered with logic and with info and with fact. But sometimes I gotta watch out for when it starts getting pseudo.
Right, and don't take what I say to the bank. You always want to cross confirm what we saying on this channel with other information, preferably experts, right?
James, and I would even ask you this, right? There's only so far we can go back with these optical telescopes, no matter how powerful a telescope is, right? There's a time inside the universe where the stars didn't light up, right? This is before the stars lit up, right? It was a complete opaqueness throughout the universe, right? How do we observe? Right. How do we observe before then? So when we get to the point where we're observing before the stars lit up, right? And we're giving ourselves information. How do we process that? We have to wrap our minds around that.
Well,
you
actually,
gotta understand.
If we look at the CMB, right, we're actually looking at a point in time,
right,
where there were no stars lit up, right?
Right.
But there's a radiation, there's a remnant of the radiation there, right? And it's all about the spectrum that you're able to visualize.
And that is similar to the infrared radiation that you're talking about now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Same thing. You can't see though with the naked eye, right? But again, you have to be able to wrap your head around this type of information, right? Again, we always talk about science is counterintuitive. Not everything you're going to be able to see and observe is going to make sense to you.
Right.
Why just gotta go to school, yo? Why don't you just go to school, James?
I've been there.
Imagine.
If you
read, James got into the cabinet, man. He got the tequila. He got into that
put the salt. Look, he about to get it. Oh, hell.
Wait. Oh shit! I forgot I'm on the air.
He's a retired avionics guy,
man.
Right? I'll tell you.
Imagine,
but imagine this. Imagine this. Take yourself back into the time of the early points of the universe. This was back in the moments after the Big Bang. If you could take your body and go back then, there was a time when the hot ionization in the universe was so hot and things was going on, you could put your hand right in front of your face and you couldn't see it because photons couldn't freely move through the universe at that point, right? Because of the ionization that was happening. Even light couldn't travel through the universe, right?
Oh, I thought it was because Chef's God didn't create light yet.
No, light was there. Photons were there.
He didn't separate. He's got a separation. He ain't separated yet.
They just did not travel freely, right? At some point, the universe had to cool, right? The universe cooled, and then photons could freely travel, and then that opaqueness lifted. They said the opaqueness lifted, and then we could actually see the universe for what it was. The cloud, they call it the cloud or the fog. The fog of the universe lifted, and then and even after that, we can't.
Did you get that? Did you get that from religious documents or scientific journals?
You know where I got it. Nobody. I didn't get that from the Torah.
I'm just wondering.
I didn't get that from the Torah.
No. All right. Just making sure.
Right. So, for sure.
Pretty good, man. No, it's reasonable. It's plausible. And it's just, it's just hard to quantify those kind of
numbers, actually, man. Beyond plausible, though, right? So at this point, it's nothing more like you know, that nebula, to get any more proof of that nebula, it would have to come and slap you in the face, right? Right, physically, right?
And you know what's crazy? You know what? You know what's crazy? Corey, is that early light, those early photons that were released then, they're still traveling now.
Right,
they're still moving.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at earlier when I talked about the Bill Nye discussion with him and the broadcasters, the interviewer, right? She asked the question, well, so those, you know, those nebulas, since those are, you know, 13 point something billion years ago, right? Or light years away, those things don't exist anymore, right? And the thing is not necessarily, right? They exist to us because we see them, right? I mean, what is, you know, it's within those photons, right? Are still within the space-time continuum, right? So by definition, those photons exist. That image exists, right? So now, obviously, right, those, you know, stars don't live to be 13 billion years old, right? But can we say those stars are not there anymore, right? Can we really actually say that, right? So Bill Nye kind of asked her, you know, maybe that's not even a coherent question. Maybe we can't even ask questions like that due to, you know, how the space-time continuum works, how general relativity works, how photons work within all of that.
How do you collect historic photon energy?
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it has to exist, right? Those images have to still exist, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, when you think about it, does a star live to be 13 billion years old? We haven't seen any yet, right? They usually don't, right? So we actually know the average lifespan of a star is around 8 billion years. So yeah, I mean, those are very, I mean, like I say, is that a real question? You know, can you really ask that? You know, so the real questions are things you can actually get an answer to. But go ahead.
Well, I could ask this, you know, when this was being developed, like I remember there was some issue with loose screws, and you know, there was a delay with NASA's new space telescope and the James Webb, and it was then it was slated for 2021 launch. My point is this: that's a loose screw before it launched, but this thing is out further than anyone can go out to repair it.
Right. That's amazing.
Now, yeah. So my point is, it's got to have some redundancy to find out if something goes wrong and they can adjust to it. Or, I mean, damn. I mean,
that's the amazing endeavor. That's the endeavor. That's what makes this amazing, right? Is because, well, first of all, and I think Anthony talked about this earlier, right? The technology that's on board has been tested beyond testing, right? You don't pluck something out into space, right? Without testing it, right? So
we do the same thing with satellites. We do the same thing with near orbit satellites, right?
Right.
They're designed for like 10, 15, 20 years, right?
I see.
Yeah.
So
it's just the materials you use. Again, we keep judging electronics based on the things that we see around us, right? We know a computer, when we buy a computer, we know it's only going to last 5 years. It's because it's made of a bunch of copper and, you know,
plastic.
Yeah, exactly. It's plastic. It's solder. That's all this stuff. We pulled up those images earlier. Most of the components are made of gold, silver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very high quality alloys, right? The components themselves, exactly. The software has been tested to the point where for the exact purpose that the software was designed for, it's been tested, regression tested many times, and it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they don't. like you mentioned, you might solder some circuit boards together. Like they like do TIG welding. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that, with gold, like there's no solder.
Yeah, and believe me, I understand about the electronics because, for a long time, especially in this millennia, the electronics is what we depend on. And what I don't know what you guys know about aviation, but it's called a glass cockpit now. Even all the systems and components it's based on a different technology, not these old steam gauges like gyros and aneroid wafers, making things attached to a mechanic. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say mechanical, Brendan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you
in terms of what
you worked on flight simulators?
Exactly. When we're talking about gyros, remember the gyros. The gyros are the backups, right? Remember the gyro systems are the old backups, right? But we also do use the fly-by-wire, right? All that stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's those
right.
Are
so my point is, I depend on electronics, and I know sometimes this redundancy it can save your life. So I could feel that.
Right, for sure. But this type of stuff is like, is light years ahead of, in terms of those things. Even inside of avionics, right? Inside of avionics, the components that you would see inside of an avionics cockpit are many generations ahead of the components you would see inside of a personal computer. Those are the type of leaps we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And even the components you would see inside of an aircraft component are different than what you would see in a spacecraft.
That's right.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep. Different mode, different things. Remember the Apollo mission when stuff went wrong, and how they fixed it. You know what I'm saying? From Earth. So that gave them a how to do shit, like they fixed Hubble. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, man, like it is what it is, man. That's why, and even with all that, mistakes still can happen. They run right out there and get hit by something. That was funny. So I'm talking about straight funny, right? And so I think that's what amazes me, that vaccines, that type of stuff, man, there's always a room for failure, right? Like, and there's a certain level of space where they can measure, like, okay, to this degree, we know it's going to be this, right? Nothing's perfect, right? And just for us sitting here thinking that we could outdo any of that shit is bizarre to me, man. So we be working off of sheer luck, right? And I don't like luck because I never thought it was such thing as luck, man. Just when opportunity meets preparation for me. So, we've been running around here in the Black community on sheer luck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put that in my body. Yeah, but you sitting there, you drinking brandy. This is clearly more harmful for you than any vaccine you would do drinking alcohol. That shit don't even supposed to be in your body. I know, right? We do all that shit, right? And it's just funny to me how humans are real. We risk takers, man. We risk takers. And that's what's going to take to get to space. Corey will tell you, we take risks.
And I like how you talk about it's room for error, right? Even in my trade, right? I do these floors for factories, right? They call them super flat floors, right? My most famous endeavor with the super flat floors was I did a factory, a automotive factory for GM, right? They built a factory in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was out there and we poured. The floor was the building that we did, and the floor that I did was 1 million square feet, right? But this floor was a super flat floor, right? And what Unk's talking about as far as room for error, you're talking about a tolerance, right? And so when you become ACI certified, this is what
helps you become a master cement mason, right? It's one of the qualifications that that you need to have to become a master cement mason. And within the ACI test, they have these FF numbers. They got FL numbers and they got FF numbers, right? And you talk, one is for like the levels, the height, and the other one is for like the tilt, like how that floor is tilting compared to being dead level, right? And so you have a certain amount of tolerance. So they would, usually you'd get a tolerance like for a factory floor, it's like up in the 60s, right? And then like maybe like you might have a grocery store where they might need to run a pallet jack through the grocery store. So those numbers would have to be in the 50s, right? But what those numbers are a tolerance for error, right? Or a tolerance for flatness. So the higher the number, the flatter the floor. So 100, obviously 100 would be flat, right? Absolutely flat, right? But it is very, very difficult it's near impossible to get a floor within that tolerance, within the hundreds, right? But it's more reasonable to get it into the 80s, right? And so that's what Unc's talking about, a certain tolerance level that you have to abide by, and this is in all of the fields of science. I'm sure now that I know Brendan's field, right, I'm sure he's familiar with tolerance levels, right? So he could probably elaborate a little more on that too.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because when you're talking about like latency, when you're talking about latency, in my field, right, when you're talking about data transfers, things like that, certain things you can only tolerate so much latency before it's like, okay, well, your data signal, you want a high fidelity data signal, right? So those are the type of questions that you end up having. Well, how do we increase the fidelity of the data signal? And again, we talked about that earlier with the James Webb, right? We said that, well, they did it by increasing the quality of the components, right? Those data cables, right? Because the internal components, right? The more conductive the internal, you would say material, right? The faster the data transfer can be. Like I'll give you an example, like in terms of what we're doing, right? Inside of your home or inside of a regular, you would say, data center, no one can actually afford to have a solid gold cable plant, right? Of course, it would be ideal because you would have the most fidelity, right? The least amount of signal loss, right? And the highest bandwidth and data transfer. But of course, you have an astronomical sort of cost, right? But you can't. But when you're doing something like when you're dealing with spacecraft, right? It's a different sort of what you would say benefit cost analysis. You would rather have a high fidelity sort of and a high performance component than to risk a failure.
That's
right? Because a failure risk is basically you've wasted tens of billions of dollars and there's something that you can't repair, right? So I would rather deal with high quality components up front than to deal with a potential failure.
That's right.
So
and
that's
in my
happens.
business,
it's the same
failures,
thing.
it's not good.
Exactly.
Failures can cost your life in my business.
Where you fly at?
And it's the same. And it's the same
at?
thing. It's the same thing. Like you say, it's a scaled sort of a risk analysis. What you do, like for instance, when you're dealing with launch vehicles, right? It's here. When you're dealing with permanent space vehicles, it's up way up here. But when you're dealing with aircraft, okay, well, yes, we can land an aircraft, we can fix it, but the failure is there's human life there, right? There's human life consequences. So it's higher than a ground system, right? It's higher than a ground system. So, you know, but again, right, that's how it goes.
So the tolerance for error is a lot low, you know, a lot lower than it would be.
It's the risk analysis, right?
I'm out here
how
in
expensive,
Arizona,
how risky, right?
In the desert Southwest is a mecca for flight training. I think I mentioned before that there's 340 days of good flying weather out here, and I'm a chief instructor on an airline training level out here. And guess what? And if you look on the radar, it's raining. It's the monsoon storm out here right now. Right now.
I'm gonna make sure I'll be on your plane when you flying it.
Right.
Now you might be on some of us. Listen, I got students in KLM, Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, several Chinese airlines, and right here in the old United States, American, United, and or the smaller ones, Air Western and Alaska, all of them.
So, I did primary flight training for the Air Force.
Did you?
Primary flight training for the Air Force.
What years?
Those are people coming out of, you know, the really early. These are pilots before they were pilots. Right. These
how about that?
Learn it. Primary pilots.
Hey James, why don't you just knock it off though?
Knock what off?
You gotta actually knock it off, yo.
I'm bringing facts, Unc.
No, you're not. You gotta knock it off. Man. Like, let me show you what you're doing.
I'm bringing valid questions, Unc.
No, nah. Listen, come on, man, bro. What you do is so serious. Brendan can tell you. He said he was fucking with the flight. I was in the Marine Corps, bro. There's a level here. We're not building the pseudo ship when you get on the motherfucker, it's just downright sink, dog. Billions of dollars down the fucking drain. They're not doing that, bro. Like, that's not what's going on. Oh, we're gonna play the game. When you teach a person how to fly, bro, there are certain things you have learned, man. You understand so much about levity, right? Gravity, lift, like the pitch. Like, you playing with us right now, bro. Like, you know.
I'm not playing. Listen.
No. Listen.
You qualified something. You talked about the cost of training, brother. Now, yeah, and if you were Corps, listen, all the pilots, when they go through that naval aviation training, you know this training is in excess of $1 million, right?
I'm saying, why is you sitting here on a scientific
channel? Wait a minute.
Bashing science, knowing that your whole career. Listen, you don't talk around me. I got you, Peg, goddammit. I'm saying, yo, it really makes no sense when a person with a high level of comprehension on how the forces of nature work on building materials.
The same avionics.
If you turn that plane too damn hard, bro, shit gonna break up. You know that.
James, the same avionics technology.
Come on for a minute, Brendan. Let me bring this home, though, bro. Like, you know better than this game you playing right here. Because when you start fucking with the flight and the planes, yo, you throw all that pseudo shit you be telling us out the door, bro. You be right to the rule book. Boom, 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 boom. You know it. You playing with it.
That's procedure.
You get on here to have fun and drink your brandy and tequila. I'm done.
No, that wasn't brandy. That's tequila. I'm in the Southwest, brother.
Okay, I'm saying you be playing. I just had to get you. I had to think. I said, yo, this man is coming on here. Flight training.
It was brandy the last time.
Commercial airlines. And you can't apply that same thought to a vaccine. Well, you got to stop it.
And most commercial pilots are like ex-military pilots, right?
Right. Shot up to death. Past getting shot up. You should explode and turn into a Martian by now.
Right?
As many shots as you got.
What I shut you down with, you don't have to be so upset with. I came with a valid point. The list was clear.
Wait a minute. Clear. So you still think that you beat us with the scores?
No. Your point was well taken. I think you made a point that this list didn't have a priority. I think this is what you were trying to say.
No, I said your list said that based off of the level of vaccinations, we would determine whether you should even wear a mask or not. That's what it said when you read it, bro. It literally said that. So it wasn't a mask, social distancing, and on the last thing, vaccine. No, it said it. It said based off of the level of being shot in the arm in your community, the amount of people that's got vaccinations, we will determine whether that community needs masses or not, yo. Like, stop it. You can't be serious. I don't even understand how, like, if you was a religious person, I could get it. But I don't, how do you do that? Why do you think helicopters fly?
Wait a minute.
Are helicopters pseudo? Is a plane pseudo? Like, is it a conspiracy to put a little fake boat in the planes to kill? Like, what are you talking about? You do this on purpose, bro. I don't get it. I've got no.
Brother, I am not an anti-vaxxer. You're treating me as an no. Just because I didn't take the vaccine.
That makes you
an
anti-vaccine.
Cedric was on earlier. Cedric had mentioned what I mentioned that you never argued against. As a matter of fact, you just overran it. I'm talking about the lesion in the ventromedial nucleus of the hypothalamus. Listen,
what?
See? Right. You can't deal with that right now. You got to research.
What did you just say? Say it slower.
I said I talked about
the lesion of doom. Hypothalamus
spoke about the spike protein and what it does to the nucleus. I mentioned what a lesion in the ventromedial nucleus of the hypothalamus, how it affects your homeostasis. I mean, how your body reacts to your metabolism, weight gain and loss, all of this stuff. And this was the example I was making was how damage to the nucleus in certain things affects the body. And my question was that the spike protein obliterates the nucleus that it comes in contact with. And I thought it was overkill. And I thought somebody would know, or maybe some medical science in this piece. But I don't think it's, I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
Basically, you on a YouTube video caught that, and people to make a living off that didn't catch that. Man, let me get off here, man. Hey, man, thank you for everybody listening to the show, man. Appreciate the audience, man. Appreciate everybody coming through, yo. Look, man, I'm not at 12:30 at night when I do that. I appreciate your conversation, James. Really, yo.
Shout out likewise, brother. Likewise. And Brendan, you too, man.
Athenian. You know? Shout out to Athenian. 501 top level. Yo, Kevin Henry, Immortal Truth. Who else we got? Mr. Metro, Vince Boyd, Donnie C. T. I see you. Who else we got in here? Anusha, CJ, Thirsty Uno, King Sosa Presents, YouTube 91, man. Yeah, man, we all in here, man. We appreciate that show. Man, appreciate people coming in, man. Man, like and subscribe to the Real Black Atheist on Fire, man. Make sure you do that. Subscribe to the Pseudo Killers, man. Be looking for us, man. We in here, man. We is not gonna let James convince us of that. We is not. They're sipping. Brendan is sipping and James is sipping. They're sipping. One is sipping on vodka and one is sipping on tequila. I can
It's adult hours, man. It's adult hours.
Dope. So I appreciate everything everybody doing, man. Look at the downloads, man. Subscribe. Tell a friend, man. These shows are dope, man. We got this sweet spot, man. We appreciate y'all when y'all tap in, man. Tap in, man. Man, tell the youth, tap in, man. Good show, man. Always quality shows, man. Ain't no fun without you, James. I ain't gonna lie, man. You gotta make sure you stay being a regular, man. I appreciate the comment. I just don't believe you believe that. I
feel welcome, man. I feel welcome.
No, you gave us the hypothalamus, lineage to boom, spike protein. You forgot all about the spike protein on the daggone real coronavirus. Like that don't even matter. But the fake one y'all humans came up with is way worse to the body than the real one. Okay, James, we don't believe you.
That's my question.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, we don't.
You got to come on. You got James. You got to come on, and we got to have a conversation about
I wanted
avionics
to
and
come
the
on when
flat
y'all was
Earth.
talking. Y'all was talking that Christian stuff, man. Them Catholics ain't hiding nothing
He's
from
flat
y'all,
Earth.
man. It's right in the word. Them Catholics ain't hiding nothing.
Bro,
it's
we
in
have
the word
to talk
Vatican.
about the flat Earth.
Who?
We have to talk about the flat Earth, the avionics.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an avionics guy. We have to get into this flat Earth conversation.
I can prove it.
You can prove what?
That the Earth is flat?
I can prove that the Earth is not flat.
It's not flat. Okay. Oh,
I was about to die. I was about to say,
no, seriously. I'm a fly for a living,
right?
And believe the Earth is flat.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. I was about to, no. How can you fly for a living?
Only avionics guy he's going to tell us the Earth is flat.
Wait,
okay.
How? Cool. Look. That's like you an engineer, Brendan, and you an avionics, right? How in the hell don't you understand like how they actually would put shit together? Like the whole shit is incredible that a group of 200 people can be floating across the goddamn sky, without just killing themselves every time they do it. Like that's got to be spectacular, right? The fact that you can actually mimic a virus, right, and send a message, that's fucking like the fact that you can send something 1 million miles and make it hit right in the shade at about 1 million is just
you know why?
To me, bro.
You know why? Well, we can let everybody else be responsible for doing that work. I don't have to be responsible for flying a plane and landing safely across the country, right? I don't have to be responsible for building a building that's sustainable and the roof doesn't fall in on my head because I don't want to learn calculus.
Yeah.
Let everybody else do the work.
Yeah. So we glad you ain't making our vaccines, James, and we glad you stay over there with them planes and stay away from it.
I'm healthy.
Because you wouldn't even pass the class, or you would fail.
What?
Wait
a minute. I ain't got no COVID.
I'm just saying.
I ain't got no COVID.
Man, don't say that too loud, yo.
Don't commit a cross-domain violation. Stay in the air, James.
Man.
Stay out of the lab. Stay in the air, out of the lab.
Hey, look, man. Pseudo killer signing off, man. Black
All right,
African
well, I
power,
hope to
man.
see you guys this weekend.
Black African power, man. You know what I'm saying? Magi Archers, Raw Squad.